Howdy, me again. Welcome back to the show, to J-Mac Talks and Plays NASCAR, where I discuss the previous weekend in NASCAR racing and play NASCAR 2000, because that totally makes sense. It was the All-Star weekend, pretty good All-Star race. There was also the truck race the night before in Charlotte, which was god-awful. It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay, that's a bit of a stretch, but it was still not any good. But I'll get to that in a bit. And then there was the Nationwide Series race in Iowa, which was kind of a snoozer, but wasn't overly awful. I don't know. It was, but anyways, first things first, just to get it out of the way, we'll talk about the truck race. The wreck fest of an event that they could hardly go one lap without wrecking. Kyle Busch dominated it, so you got every part of it that people could hate. It was boring, it was not overly racy, and the Cup guy won. That pretty much describes the entire night. Wasn't a whole lot of fun to watch. It was more tedious to watch than anything else. So, yeah, that's all the time I'm going to spend on it. The All-Star race was pretty good. The showdown beforehand was really pretty entertaining. Which Clint Boyer won, AJ Allmendinger was second. Josh Wise, the surprise fan vote winner, with the Dogecoin car, showing the power of the internet, the all-powerful internet. Won that one over Danica, which had it's funny watching Twitter kind of blow up, watching fans and stuff get angry over something as silly as a fan vote. I mean, because either way, I mean, let's face it, whether it's Josh Wise or Danica, neither of those two are gonna win the All-Star race, at least in their current, situations. Danica being where she is in her career, and Josh Wise being in the equipment he's in his career. It was pointless anyway, just as pointless as me trying to race at Watkins Glen, because yeah. Anyways, but yeah, so it was funny watching everyone get angry about that. The All-Star race itself, I thought, was really stinking good. It was kind of funny looking around. I mean, a lot of people thought it was mediocre. Checked on a forum that I go to a lot, and people said it was meh. I was thoroughly entertained by the All-Star race. Thought it was very racy. I mean, it's at a cookie cutter track. What do you expect? I mean, but they were driving their butts off. I'd picked Kyle Busch. He won the first segment, and then he proceeded to wreck in the second one. Just a racing deal, really. I mean, you definitely can't blame Kyle. I mean, he's trying to make a move. Clint Boyer threw a block, probably a poorly, well, no, not probably. It was a poorly executed block, because it got the two of them squirrely and got one of them wrecked. So, just not a good deal at all, and got him turned head on into the wall. Took out Joey Logano, who didn't look like he was going to be anything special all night. Didn't look like they had the setup, but that was after one segment. Neither did Jamie McMurray, the guy who ended up winning, but I'll get to him in a minute. But other than that, it was pretty racy up front. It kind of had a feeling that either Jeff Gordon or Kevin Harvick was going to win it. Man, Jeff Gordon is on it this year. I mean, I think I've said that, and it's pretty obvious considering he's leading the points. But man, that dude is driving like a 20-year-old, man. 1998 called, and once it's Jeff Gordon back, the dude's driving hard, but he ended up getting in a wreck, lost a right front tire or something. Took out Biffle, who was driving like a maniac. Not really like a maniac, but he was driving like Greg Biffle on the edge of glory or whatever. Yeah, this is not going well. But and then it took out Martin Truex too, who has to have the current worst luck in the Sprint Cup Series. That guy cannot catch a break. I feel bad for him. I mean, every time he has a car that seems like, hey, 78 car is pretty good, he ends up in a wreck. And even when they aren't that good, he somehow ends up in a wreck. And it's like, oh, I mean, considering he should be in good equipment, but, you know, fans revolted against Michael Waltrip Racing because they tried to manipulate a system, which is, you know, which is part of the lifeblood of NASCAR, whether we like to admit it or not. But, you know, that's another rant for another day. I've become very cynical toward the fan base. I feel like that's justified, but, you know, sometimes I feel like a jerk for it. But anyways, good race, final. Am I the only person that feels like the average finish thing is a bit gimmicky? I mean, it should be the 4 guys who win. Make them take 4 tires. I mean, I know that it'll be like in 2012 it was, I guess, when Jimmy Johnson won the first segment and then sat back for the rest of the race until the final segment and then ended up winning the whole thing. I know it would happen like that, but I don't mind that at all. I mean, if they want to play it safe after they win a segment, fine, they can play it safe. Let the other guys bust their butts, I say. But anyways, yeah. But ever finish thing, yeah, whatever. I didn't compute it. I remember last year there was something like goofy that went on with it, like Fox Sports screwed it up or whatever, but didn't hear the same thing this year, so I guess it was right. But Jamie McMurray came out second, raced him and Carl Edwards. That little 2.5 lap, however long it was, shootout between the two of them was some of the best racing I've seen in a long time, I thought. Just the way they were racing each other hard, they were leaning on each other, and they didn't wreck each other. And McMurray ended up pulling away and ended up winning the whole thing, surprisingly. It was just a lot of fun to watch. I figured there would be tears in victory lane because that's the way McMurray rolls. He's a lot of fun to watch win just because he gets so emotional about it, and that's very refreshing instead of getting the typical name off all the sponsors and the Gatorade bottle and Sprint and everything else. That's kind of redundant because those are all sponsors, aren't they? Anyways, but he managed to hold it in, and now he's locked into the All-Star race for the next 10 years. So there you go. There's that. Jamie Mack's an All-Star for maybe the rest of his career, and who knows? Maybe he might win again and be an All-Star for beyond. But then there was a nationwide race Sunday, and it wasn't anything overly special. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but it was a 2-man race from the very beginning between Ryan Blaney and Sam Hornish, and those two raced each other hard, and it was fun to watch. But Hornish ended up winning. That 54. God, that team, the Joe, since about 2007, 2008, somewhere in there, Joe Gibbs Racing has just been the team to beat, the best team overall in the Nationwide Series, and it just astounds me how no one's been able to do anything about it. Penske's come the closest, and it seems like JR Motorsports / Hendrick is close too, is getting there, but they're just that 54 team is just so stinking good. I mean, no matter who's driving it, and Sam Hornish picked up where Kyle Busch usually leaves off, and won it for him. So that dude needs a ride. That guy does need a ride. He's way too good of a driver to be without. I know he was awful when he was in the 77 car at Penske, but that Penske wasn't that great of a team beyond Kurt Busch at that point in time. And really, I needed to look at the numbers, but I don't know if he was, having the best years of his career there either. So, but anyways, someone needs to put Hornish in a ride soon, in a full-time ride. Maybe Joe Gibbs could do that. instead of having a whole bunch of Cup guys in their cars. Anyways, that's enough of that. Done for the week. We'll catch y'all on the flip side. I'll see y'all this weekend for the Coke 600. Longest race of the night. The best race day of the year, actually. So anyways, catch you on the flip side. J-Mac out. Hold on, let me see the standings first. Okay, that sucks. Okay, now I'm out.